Encounters is a game on Roblox that I personally enjoy. Though it is very far from perfect, in this video I will not be reviewing Encounters, but instead explaining its history and multiple controversies. Part 1. Release. Encounters released on September 17th, 2021 to decent approval. Encounters is commonly compared to that of the Super Smash Bros. Series, the main similarity being that when you take damage, your number thingy increases. The more it increases, the further you get launched when hit. To put it simply, your goal is to launch all of your competitors off the map and into the void below. The main reason Encounters has any kind of advantage over Super Smash Bros. Was that it was 3D. Like I said, on release, everyone was pretty happy with the game, many even advocating for it and claiming that it was underrated. For a while, it had a pretty loyal community, desperately waiting for an update. Eventually, it would come, but it wasn't what the community was expecting or hoping for. Basically, they just added skins for the characters. Since this, since this didn't really add more content to the game, it didn't really attract more players. Skin and map updates would continue to be released for a while, and most people, including myself, got bored. I should mention that the addition of new maps didn't really help since almost all maps followed the same formula due to the game being 3D. Anyway, this is when me and my friend group stopped playing Encounters for a while. While we were gone, Encounters did eventually get an update that helped it gain more traction. It released two brand new characters to the roster and made it much more convenient to get characters you just couldn't seem to get your hands on before, since the previous system was RNG based. Though, for many, this was one of the few times Encounters managed to do something right. Part 2. Controversy. Encounters would soon face controversy when they released two more new characters with the very familiar faces. The two characters were called Luffo and Toro. They were an obvious reference to the two One Piece characters, Luffy and Zoro. Needless to say, many of the people who would defend Encounters tooth and nail because it was unique started turning sides, and complaining that adding characters from an anime would completely shift the fan base from people who like Super Smash Bros. And other fighting games to people who like anime. Of course, many people might be both, but those that weren't probably didn't want to feel alienated. It looked like the devs had definitely changed their vision for what they wanted the game to be, and as we now know, none of the complaints seemed to stop them. Though the game was finally getting consistent content updates, it was looking pretty bad for the original fans of the game. Back when Encounters was praised by nearly everyone, people liked it because it just seemed like a better game than most of the repetitive pay to win trash floating around on Roblox. Now that its uniqueness was fading, the devs would play a highly risky move that could make both fighting game fans and anime fans stop playing altogether. Part 3. Unanimous Disapproval. The highly risky move was adding a character that could be only obtainable by buying it with Robux. The character in question was called Kogu, a reference to, Goku. Not only was this character locked behind a rather expensive paywall of almost 1,000 Robux, but it generally seemed to be a lot better than all the free characters. From there, many more overpowered characters locked behind a paywall have been added, and the average player count has steadily decreased. For the most part, many of those who initially loved Encounters have stopped playing it. It had lost any chance of developing a competitive community due to the pay-to-win aspects of the game, and those who praised the game for being a gem among the trash that is the Roblox front page either left the game behind or went to the Discord server to make the exact same toxic complaints every time a new update comes out. Part 4. What is it today? Today's Encounters still has a somewhat decent player base, and I personally have gotten some enjoyment out of it. Of course, it has many glaring problems and controversies. Honestly, I doubt it'll ever reach the nearly unanimous approval it had at launch, but it would be a very pleasant surprise if it did. I still recommend Encounters, but I have to admit that it is deeply flawed as a fighting game, and you probably shouldn't expect the experience of a lifetime going into it. But, like I said, I really do want to see this game succeed. I just think that at this point it may be too far gone. Too far from any kind of fixes to be made, too far into the river of mediocrity and trash, where most of Roblox lies with it.